Today is 23rd January 2026, and we are starting chapter Work, Energy, and Power. Consider this is a horizontal surface, and a block is placed on this horizontal surface. But when you exert a force on the block, and if block is displaced, applied force displaced block, then this is called work. Work means when applied force displaces an object, it is called work. But in mathematics, conceptual definition is not important. You have to write mathematical definition. So mathematical definition of work is the product of force and displacement. Work is the product of force and displacement. So this definition you have to write in exam. Product of force and displacement. The product of applied force and displacement covered by body is called work. So this is the definition of work which you have to write in exam. Sir, what is the unit of work? Sir, unit of work we can derive from the formula. Work is equals to force. Force is in Newton, displacement is in meter, but the unit of work is joule. Joule is the unit of work. So the first definition is completed, and the first definition of today's class is work. What is work? Sir, when applied force displaces an object from one position to the other, when the object is displaced from one position to the other position, then this is called work. So definition of work is completed. And now I am starting the next definition, that is about energy. Energy is the ability of doing work. Energy is the ability of doing work. Sir, what does it mean? Electricity is a type of energy, and we use electricity for doing many works. I do not need to explain how do we use electricity. I think nowadays our life is running by electricity. So electricity is the ability by which we are doing too many works in our daily life. So electricity is a form of energy. In the same way, I am teaching you my class by sound energy. I am speaking, you are listening. So this class is running by sound as well as by electricity, because electricity is running my tablet, internet, etc. And then I am taking your class by sound. Heat is a form of energy, and too many energies. I do not need to make a list. I will open my notes in which I can show you these are different types of energies. So I have given you very important three type of units: electricity, sound, heat, etc. But the energy which you will find most in your exam, it is kinetic energy. It is kinetic energy. So what is kinetic energy? Kinetic energy is the energy which is produced due to the motion of object. When an object moves, oh my God, I did not send her link. अच्छा बेटा, what is kinetic energy? Sir, kinetic energy is the energy which is produced due to the motion of object. When any object moves, then the energy due to the motion of an object, this energy is called kinetic energy. And consider this is an object which is moving on this horizontal surface. Consider the mass of the block is m, and this block is moving with velocity v. जी बेटा, नहीं अमार जो है, he is in flight and he is coming to Karachi today. Okay, so equation of kinetic energy is half mass velocity square. Sir, m is the mass of the object. Consider the object mass is 2 kg. V is the velocity or speed of the object. Consider the block is moving very slow and its speed is 2 meter per second. So, if you are given mass and velocity of a moving object, then by using this equation, you can calculate kinetic energy of the moving object. And for Manur, I think I should revise some definitions which I have taught before her coming. But Manur, I forgot to send you the class link. That is why I am revising for you. But I started the chapter work energy power. The first definition I taught work. So what is work? Consider this is a block. This block is placed on a horizontal surface. When I exert a force F, by this force, the block displaced from this position to this position. When applied force displaces an object, then it is called work. And its mathematical equation, sir, work is the product of force and displacement. So this definition you should memorize. The product of force and displacement, it is called work. And the unit of work is joule. The second definition of today's class is energy. Sir, energy is the ability of doing work. You know, electricity has ability to run our life. Sound is the ability of doing work, and you are taking my class by sound energy. Heat is very important for our life and for our um, different type of works. And now I am starting a mathematical topic of this chapter, that is kinetic energy. Sir, what is kinetic energy? So I define when an object moves. When an object moves, the energy of a body due to its motion, it is called kinetic energy. Consider m is the mass of the object, v is the velocity of the object. Then the equation of kinetic energy is half mv square. And I think you should note down only this formula. Kinetic energy equation is half mv squared. And now I am teaching you potential energy. Sir, what is potential energy? Potential energy is defined as consider a block is placed on ground. If you lift this object in upward direction, then energy of a body due to its height, the energy of a body due to its height when you are lifting an object, then obviously object is moving in vertical direction and the energy due to its height. And some teacher or in some notes in some book, they write energy of a body due to its position. But right now, position means height. So when an object is raised to a certain height, then it possesses potential energy. So energy due to height, energy due to position, it is called potential energy. Energy due to motion, it is kinetic energy. Energy is ability of doing work. What is work? Sir, work is the product of force and displacement. Work is the product of force and displacement. And now I am checking, okay, are you in class? But Nevia, can you define what is work, Nevia? But in exam you should write G at force टाइम डिस्टेंस की बजाय भी ना प्रोडक्ट ऑफ फोर्स एंड टाइम कर ले तो ज्यादा अच्छा है ठीक है बेटा ऑल दो की आपकी डेफिनेशन ओके अच्छा बेटा फारिया कैन यू डिफाइन व्हाट इज एनर्जी बेटा फारिया कैन यू डिफाइन व्हाट यस यू आर राइट अच्छा बेटा आमना कैन यू डिफाइन व्हाट इज काइनेटिक एनर्जी आमना बेटा व्हाट इज काइनेटिक एनर्जी यस 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 एंड इट्स फॉर्मूला इज व्हाट इज इट्स फॉर्मूला व्हाट इज मैथमेटिकल इक्वेशन Yes. And what is equation of potential energy? What is equation of, sorry, what is potential energy? Yes. Energy due to its height, it is called potential energy. Energy due to its motion, it is called kinetic energy. So, okay, okay. And now I'm teaching you one next heading. And then the next heading is interconversion of energies. Interconversion of energies. So what does it mean? I am explaining. Consider this is ground, and on this ground, consider this is a ramp. Consider an object is placed on the top of the ramp. At the top of the ramp, consider the height of the object is 5 meter. Consider the mass of the object is 1 kg. So obviously the object is placed at a certain height, then it possesses potential energy. And equation of potential energy is mgh. Sir, mass is 1 kg. Gravity, I should use 9.8, but I'm writing 10. Consider height is 5. So its potential energy is 50 joule. The unit of energy and the unit of work is same. Unit of energy and unit of work is same. So this is potential energy. But if you release this object from this height, then obviously object starts sliding towards the bottom of the slide. And when it slides down, then obviously its potential energy starts decreasing because its height is decreasing. Potential energy depends upon height. When the ball is at this position, the height is 5 meter. When the ball at this position, then height is considered 2 meter. So you can see the height of the ball is decreasing. When the height is decreasing, then the potential energy is decreasing. And when it reaches to the ground, then obviously height becomes zero, potential energy becomes zero. If potential energy becomes zero, then must be potential energy converted into kinetic energy. Yes, sir. When the ball is sliding down, its speed is increasing, its speed is increasing, and when it reaches at the bottom, then obviously its speed will be maximum and its kinetic energy will be equal to 50 joule. Its kinetic energy will be 50 joule. Sir, initial potential energy was 50 joule. So this potential energy is converted into kinetic energy. So when any object moves down, it loses potential energy. So I can write for downward motion, for downward free fall motion. Sir, what is the meaning of free fall? I will explain you. For downward free fall motion, the potential energy loss equals to kinetic energy gain. Sir, what is the meaning of free fall? Free fall means only gravity acting on the object. If only gravity acting, sir, no force of friction, no air resistance, no engine is working. If only force of gravity is acting on an object, then this is called free fall motion. And in free fall motion, if an object is moving down, then potential energy loss, kinetic energy gain. And conversely, if you throw an object in upward direction, if you throw an object in upward direction, so then in upward direction, as the object is moving upward, there will be loss of kinetic energy. It is equal to gain in potential energy. And right now we are dealing only gravitational potential energy. There are different types of potential energy, but right now in this chapter, we will see only gravitational potential energy. So what I am teaching, I am repeating, and Manur will explain me. Sir, when an object is at a height, when an object is at a height, it possesses potential energy. But when it is released, then obviously it moves downward. And when it moves downward, it is losing potential energy, gaining kinetic energy, and it is called interconversion of kinetic energy and potential energy. Jivata Mahanur, if an object is at a certain height, then which type of energy it possesses? Okay, and when it is released, it is moving downward. Then what kind of energy? Yes, okay, you are right. Okay, and I think now we should do some past paper question which will further explain what I am saying. But as well as one more definition I should teach you. Although the theory is not completed, this chapter contain more theory. The next heading or the last definition of today's class, and then we will start past paper question. The law of conservation of energy, and to this law, according to this law, energy can neither be created Energy can neither be created nor be destroyed, but can be converted from one form into the other form. So what does it mean? Right? It means that energy remains constant. Energy remains constant. Energy can neither be created nor be destroyed. You cannot create energy. You cannot destroy energy. You can convert energy from one form into the other form. But, sir, in daily life, we produce electricity by generator. Then how do you explain electricity generator is producing electricity and now you are saying energy cannot be created? Sir, what does it mean? Actually, generator is not producing energy. Generator is converting one form of energy into the other form of energy. For example, generator is running by petrol. Generator is running by a fuel. You know, fuel or petrol is a hydrocarbon. And if it is a hydrocarbon, then obviously this fuel contain chemical energy. This fuel contain chemical energy. And when this petrol is burnt, then obviously chemical energy converts into thermal energy. And this thermal energy is used to run an engine. In generator, there is an engine, and this heat runs an engine in which a coil starts rotation. Just like engine turns wheel of the car, in the same way, engine turns coil between the poles of the magnet. And when coil rotates, the kinetic energy of the coil converts into electrical energy. So we are not producing electricity. Actually, we are converting one form of energy into the other form of energy. Fuel contain chemical energy. When a fuel is burnt, it is converted into heat energy. This heat energy is used to run a generator in which coil starts rotating. So coil have potential energy as it is moving. There is kinetic energy, and this kinetic energy in a magnetic field turns into electricity. So you cannot produce electricity. Actually, we are converting one form of energy into the other form of energy. And now I think we should start a past paper sheet which I believe it will explain more this theory. And now the first question on your screen is March 2019. And as we have not completed theory, that is why some parts I will ignore. But tomorrow, inshallah, I will complete all the part. Okay. So now question number 1B. The question is, this is a wind turbine. And in wind turbine, there are blades, just like fan, just like fan. These are huge size blades. And when wind blows through the area of this wind turbine, you are given the wind blowing at a speed of 16 meter per second. This is the speed of the wind. Okay. And then in 1 second, 24,000 meter cube of air. You know 24,000 meter cube. Beta Faria in physics. Beta Faria in physics. Meter cube is unit of which physical quantity, Beta Faria? मीटर क्यूब इज यूनिट ऑफ विच फिजिकल क्वांटिटी? मीटर क्यूब किसकी यूनिट है बेटा? फारिया, कैन यू आंसर? यस, यू आर राइट, यू आर राइट, एज वेल एज फारिया। आई एम आस्किंग यू, बल्कि ये तो गिवन है। दिस इज वॉल्यूम, अच्छा दिया हुआ है, ठीक है सॉरी। वॉल्यूम है मीटर क्यूब, ये डेंसिटी है, ओके। वी आर गिवन वॉल्यूम, वी आर गिवन डेंसिटी, एंड द फर्स्ट पार्ट ऑफ द क्वेश्चन इज कैलकुलेट मास ऑफ एयर। कैलकुलेट मास ऑफ एयर। अच्छा बेटा फारिया, कैन यू टेल मी व्हाट इज द फॉर्मूला ऑफ डेंसिटी? बेटा फारिया, व्हाट इज फॉर्मूला ऑफ डेंसिटी? Yes, you are right. Right, perfect. It is mass per unit volume. And if we have to calculate mass, then obviously mass is the product of density into volume. Sir, we are given density. Density is 1.3. बेटा राफे आप कैलकुलेटर चलाओगे? Density is 1.3 and volume is 24,000. And if you multiply these two numbers, then what is the mass of the air, Rafi? 31,200. This is the mass of air which is passing through the circular area of blade. Okay, so this is the mass of air. And now the second part of the question is, sir, you are given speed of the air and you have calculated mass, and now they are asking calculate kinetic energy. Calculate kinetic energy of air. The question is calculate kinetic energy of air. So equation of kinetic energy is half m v square. Half mass, sir, mass is 31,200 and velocity is 16. So now you can calculate kinetic energy. Rafe, can you tell me what is kinetic energy? And 3.99 can be rounded up to 4. So it is 4 exponent 6. And the unit of kinetic energy is joule. So there are two parts in this question. In the first part, we calculated mass, and the mass is the product of density into volume. You are given density, you are given volume. So first we calculated mass of the air, and then we have to calculate kinetic energy. Kinetic energy is half mv square, and the simple calculation, the kinetic energy result is 4 exponent 6 meter per second. And now the next part of the question, which is not a mathematical part. The question is kinetic energy of air is producing electrical energy. Yes, sir, kinetic energy of air passing through, hitting this wind, and it should be converted into electrical energy. But the issue is why some of kinetic energy that passes through the circular area swept out by the blade is not converted into electrical energy. Means this kinetic energy is not converted 100% into electricity. This is the kinetic energy of air, and this kinetic energy of air is converting into electricity. But the question is the entire kinetic energy is not converted into electrical energy. The question is why? So, if I apply a common sense, I am not using physics, I am applying a common sense. So, the common sense is when air is passing through this circular region, then most of the air, most of the air passes straight without hitting the blades of the turbine. Because you can see the area of blade is very small as compared to the area of circle. The circle area is very large, which I did not shade, but the area of blade is very, very small as compared to the area of circle. So you can see, sir, most of the air is passing without striking the blade of the wind turbine. So how is it possible that this entire kinetic energy is converted into electrical energy? So I am not writing answer, but I have explained. So most of the air passes straight without striking the blades of the turbine. So the entire kinetic energy is not converted into electrical energy. And now there is another question. The question is state what is meant by principle of conservation of energy, which I have written and explained on the blank page. Okay, energy can neither be created nor be destroyed. It can be converted into one form into the other form. Okay, but now the question is a girl throwing a heavy ball. This is a heavy ball. It is thrown in upward direction. And the question is state the energy changes that take place when the girl begins to exert a force on the ball. Okay, the ball is thrown upward. So if I ask you, sir, ball is moving upward for upward motion. For upward motion, state the energy changes. So you know when an object is moving upward, then obviously kinetic energy converting into potential energy. I do not need to write which kind of energy is losing, which kind of energy is gaining. Just you have to express, sir, what is the energy change? So the energy change is, sir, when the ball is moving upward, the kinetic energy is converting into potential energy. But I am asking a question, Amna, Amna beta, when the ball is thrown in upward direction, the girl exert a force. So you have to start energy from girl. So I am asking you which kind of energy the girl possesses. इस लड़की में पहले से कौन सी एनर्जी है which is converting into kinetic energy for throw. मार्किंग स्कीम में उन्होंने शुरू किया है लड़की की एनर्जी से, तो क्या आप हमें बता सकती हैं कि which kind of energy our human body possesses? Can you tell me? वो तो है, पर काइनेटिक एनर्जी तो बेटा थ्रो करने के बाद आ रही है ना। आपने थ्रो आपकी बॉडी के अंदर कौन सी एनर्जी है ये पूछना चाह रहा हूँ। हमारी बॉडी में कौन सी एनर्जी होती है? तो जरा सुनो, सर व्हेन वी ईट फूड, ठीक है जनाब, देन दिस फूड इज कन्वर्टेड इनटू बायोकेमिकल एनर्जी. Our body contain biochemical energy. Okay, so when the girl throws the ball, the biochemical energy of human body converts into kinetic energy, and then kinetic energy is converting into potential energy. Okay, so I am starting this for upward motion, bio. Although in marking scheme the term bio is not used, they are starting directly with chemical energy. But I think this should be biochemical energy. So the biochemical energy of girl changes into kinetic energy, then into potential energy. अच्छा, in exam we should write proper name kinetic energy. They do not accept Ke or Pe. Okay, so you should write proper kinetic energy and potential energy. This is for upward motion. Okay, this is for upward motion, and then obviously the ball starts moving for downward motion, and it moves downward, when it moves downward, so I'm writing for downward motion, for downward motion, potential energy potential energy changes into kinetic energy, but the there is one more issue, and I am asking you this issue with Nevia. Nevia, beta, when the object is moving down, obviously its kinetic energy increasing, kinetic energy increasing, kinetic energy increasing, and when the ball hits the ground, then kinetic energy is maximum, but when the ball come to rest, then this kinetic energy vanishes. ठीक है जनाब? Before hitting the ground, kinetic energy is maximum, but when it hits the ground, after hitting the ground, kinetic energy vanishes. The question is, what will be the final energy? Nevia, can you tell me? टकराने के बाद काइनेटिक एनर्जी कहाँ चली गई? जब बॉल जमीन को टक्कर मारेगी, हाँ हाँ बोले बोले, केमिकल? नहीं नहीं, नो केमिकल नो पोटेंशियल, बिल्कुल गलत. अब बेटा फारिया, कैन यू सजेस्ट मी? When the ball is hitting the ground, then kinetic energy maximum before hitting, and after hitting it becomes zero. कहाँ चली गई काइनेटिक एनर्जी? आई थिंक राफे बता सकते हो? कोई भी बच्चा बता सकता है? तो इसका आंसर है, मैं आपको इसकी एक प्रैक्टिकल एग्जांपल दे दूं तो मेरे, तो किस फॉर्म में चली जाएगी, जमीन में एब्जॉर्ब होगे? तो सुनो बेटा, कभी भी समझ में ना आ रहा हो ना एनर्जी कहाँ चली गई, हाँ बोलो बोलो जी. कभी भी समझ में ना आए ना, तो नाम ले लिया करो थर्मल एनर्जी का. कभी भी समझ में ना आएगा एनर्जी कहाँ चली गई, क्या तो थर्मल में चली गई. ठीक. अच्छा, जो मैं एग्जाम्पल देना चाह रहा था वो भी मैं दे दूं ना, क्योंकि मैं एग्जाम्पल देते देते रुक गया. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, कंसिडर दिस इज अ नेल which you are inserting into the ground or in any object, and consider you have a hammer and you are striking hammer on the top of the nail. ठीक है जनाब? If you keep on hitting the nail, if you keep on hitting the nail, ठीक है जनाब, and then you should touch the head of the nail, then you will find the temperature of the nail will be high. It becomes hot. It becomes hot when the hammer strikes on the head of the nail. Kinetic energy is converting into heat. Kinetic energy converting into heat. So when any object strike on another object, then energy converts into thermal energy. So I'm writing, for downward motion, potential energy changes into kinetic energy, and when uh, after hitting the ground, after hitting the ground, converts into converts into heat energy or thermal energy. So in this example, I think I used two new types of energy. Chemical energy inside a living object, inside you contain biochemical energy. When you eat food, then this food is converted into biochemical energy. And whenever energy vanishes, it means it is converted into thermal energy. Okay, and now we are solving the next question. The next question is the mass of the ball is 4 kg. You are given time 0.6 second. Speed increase from 0 to 12. The question is, what is the momentum of the ball? You know, momentum is denoted by P. Sir, momentum is the product of mass and velocity. Momentum is the product of mass and velocity. Mass is 4 kg. Velocity is 12 meter per second. Okay. So 12 fours are 48. So the energy of the ball, momentum of the ball is 48. The unit of mass is kg and the unit of velocity is meter per second. So the unit of momentum is kg meter per second. So in the first part, they ask calculate momentum. Momentum is the product of mass and velocity. So the momentum is 48 kg meter per second. And now the last part of the question, they are asking calculate force. And I think force is equal to rate of change of momentum. Rate of change of momentum. Rate means divided by time, and the value of time is given 0.6 second. Time is 0.6 second. Momentum is 48 because initial momentum is 0. So change will be 48 because initial momentum is 0. So final momentum 48, initial momentum 0. So 48 minus 0 is 48. And if you divide 48 by 0.6, Rafe, what will be the answer? 8 हो जाएगा 8 हो जाएगा ना बेटा 80 Newton. Okay, sorry. It will be 80 Newton. So force is the rate of change of momentum. So the question is very simple. Question is very simple if you know momentum and force. And now we have another question. In this question, an aircraft is on a deck of aircraft carrier. Okay. The speed of the aircraft is 75 meter per second. The mass of aircraft is 9500 kg. The question is calculate kinetic energy. Calculate kinetic energy. You know kinetic energy is half m v square. So the mass of the aircraft is 9500. The speed of the aircraft is 75. Abata Rafe, what is the answer? 26.7 exponent 6 and all the given numbers are in 2SF. All the given numbers are in 2SF. So I should convert into 2SF answer. So the answer should be 27 exponent 6 joule. So in this question, we used equation of kinetic energy, and the equation of kinetic energy is half mv square. And now another question, B part. The B part is on an aircraft carrier, there is a catapult provides accelerating force on the aircraft. Okay. The catapult provides force for distance of 150 meter. You are given distance, 150-meter distance. Okay, we are given 150-meter distance. Calculate force. Calculate force and assume kinetic energy. Assume Kinetic energy equals to work. Kinetic energy equals to work. Okay. So you know kinetic energy equals to work. This condition is given. And remember, energy and work are same thing. Energy and work are same type, okay? Kinetic energy equal to work. Sir, kinetic energy we have calculated in the last part. Sir, kinetic energy 26.7. We should use the calculated answer, not a rounded off answer, okay? So we calculated 26.7. हाँ बोलिए. Okay, okay. 26.7 exponent 6 is the kinetic energy. Work, sir, work equal to force into displacement. Force into displacement. Sir, we have to calculate force and this displacement should be divided. So F equals to 26.7 exponent 7 divided by D, and D is 150 meter. Okay, but and if you divide these two numbers, then obviously you can calculate force. If you divide these two numbers, then obviously you can calculate force.